What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. We are gonna just jump right into it. We're on Bitcoin Cash on Coinbase here. Same old, same old. I made a live stream earlier. It's a little bit long, but covered a few different coins in there. Just talked a lot, and it was fun, man. I had a good time. If you guys liked the live stream, let me know. If there were things that you didn't like about it, let me know as well. And something else, if you guys have like a preferred time that might work for you, use Bitcoin time, right? Use whatever. Like if we're on the daily here, what is this? This is what time frame is it? It's UTC. Use UTC time, and tell me what hours work best for you guys. Because I'm down to do live streams at various points in the day. I can't do them at all points in the day, but definitely like around this time from about what is it right now? It's about 4 o'clock UTC. 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock UTC definitely works well for me. I'd say 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock even. But I mean, I can make a lot of other times work. That's just the most consistent thing. I did it today. I want to say I did it. Let's see. If it was probably like around 2 my time, which would have been right here. I think I did it at 20 hours into UTC, which would have been what's that? That's 8 o'clock UTC time. Military time, that's 20 hours, right? 2000. Anyways, enough of that. Just leave in the comments if you guys have a preferred time or if you care about that at all. Also, if you'd like to leave it in the Discord, that helps too. If you guys want to join the Discord, I'll leave a link in this video, hopefully if I remember, so that you can do that. But without any further ado, let's actually look at Bitcoin Cash here and get into it. So we're in this range. We're in this nice looking kind of flag pattern, right? Definitely, I would say a bull flag. It's getting to the point where it's starting to become invalidated. And I'll show you what I mean, right? Because the flagpole itself didn't start here. There's an argument to be made that it did start there, right? That was the bottom. But I would say that really you bottomed here. You moved sideways. The flagpole probably more started right here. Okay, so from bottom to top there, this is the amount of pixels you got, 329. And if I move this, it's going to be different. So depending on how you draw it, if you have an info line yourself, it'll probably have a different pixelation depending on the resolution you have. But here, from top to current bottom here, we're at about 315 pixels. It might not look like it, but this, and really, I mean, out over to here, it's 335. Really, this flag is almost as big as the pole. And I'm pretty sure that, I mean, from what I know, it's once the flag is about 50% of the pole, that's whenever it becomes invalidated. But I've seen some things on the internet and some examples where the flag was just as long as the pole. If the flag becomes longer than the pole, what everybody seems to agree on is that that's whenever it becomes invalidated. But to my knowledge, I've always gone by the half metric, which would have invalidated it somewhere around here, actually. Like quite literally at this low here. And it makes sense because normally when a flag becomes invalidated, you don't break down. You tend to bleed sideways and then you'll break down. And that's actually exactly what we got in my experience. Whether it's a bull flag or a bear flag, you'll bleed sideways out of it, and you won't get instead of getting the projected move, you just kind of keep moving sideways. And anyways, let's see here. Let's see if we look on the weekly. I feel like it's kind of harder to see. Right? It doesn't look as, I mean, 232 pixels there versus here it's only 96 pixels, but still we are getting to the halfway point on the weekly as well. I don't know, it's hard to say. On the daily it's a different look. On the weekly it still, I would say, fits the bull flag dynamic for sure. But let's see here, from top to bottom, I would say if we break this 50% line, then obviously we're going to break the bull flag. Really, if we break out of this structure, if we were to just have like a straight drop down, something that kind of broke out of this like descending structure, if we went below that, that would signal to me that this flag is a busted pattern. And there's a solid chance that it could. We were looking at the pattern site earlier today, and it was saying from Thomas Bulkowski, a man who's documented every single trade that he's ever made in the last like 60 years or 40 years or something like that on the internet. He said that these things have a 60% chance likelihood to break out. And some people might hear that and be like, oh, that's not that good of a chance. 60% chance in the trading world, man. That is enough to get an edge. You bet on it blindly 6 out of 10 times you're gonna win. You're gonna make money. That's definitely big shit. But there's a 40% chance on the flip side that this could break bearishly or become a busted pattern, however you want to look at it. And right now with the week, there's only about 3 days left in the week, 2 days, 20 hours left. We came all the way up here. Most of this week is a wick to the upside. The last week that we had like that did not promote good growth afterwards. So I do think that we're going to go down. Obviously, that's been my perspective for a while. Nothing's really changed that throughout every single one. I think this one, maybe it was this one, I forget. I think it might have been this one that I was getting a little bit hesitant on the bearish stance, but I still, throughout this whole thing, even on this, I remember saying that I've expected lower prices and I'm not budging until we've been proven otherwise. And sure, this little kind of like higher high looking thing here after moving sideways so much, breaking above the 236, I believe is what it was. Yeah, you broke above the 236. That was starting to look a little bit good. But really what you did was topped off at the 382, and that just ultimately is not a good thing. That's not what you want to see. If you want more growth, you want to break through that 382, and we had yet to do that, so that's why I was still firmly in my bearish stance and still am now. Throughout all these moves, regardless of how exciting they might seem at first, they have been proven to be just lower highs. That's it. And what comes after a lower high? A lower low. A lower low. Well, I guess this low wasn't a lower low, was it? But you get the point of it, right? We're probably going to be making our way down to a lower low. We just had a bearish engulfing candle on the daily. Looking at this on a 4-hour basis, yeah, we came up to the purple line and rejected it. Just kind of in this area, we don't really show too much respect on the purple line, more of the area of it itself on the 4-hour. We are showing weakness on the RSI, right? We're getting in oversold areas, lingering down here. Once we get overbought, we just get out of it as quick as we came. And then again here, this was that time where things were starting to look a little exciting, but you topped off with some bearish divergence, and that was the end of that. We haven't really seen too much bullish action since then. This was the most bullish action we've seen, and from bottom to top, all that was a like 14.5% move, which I'd love to make 14% on a move, 10%, 5%, whatever, but that's nothing compared to what Bitcoin Cash can do, and we all know that. The biggest volume candles that came from this range were this big red candle here and this big red candle here. Coincidentally, both of these tops. I do think this means that somebody with some big bags or some buddies were planning to sell around this area, and that's kind of normal. If you were to go back off of this price range, something I was saying earlier in my live video, a little trick to the trade, if you will, is that if you take any price range, which the price range that I'm going off of right now is, I'll put lines on it, right, is basically from top here to bottom here, this kind of price range right here, right? If you were to take the midpoint, which on a fib scale, the 0.5, that literally is the midpoint of the price range, you can see that we found resistance right there. And that's a common thing. You actually, if you take any price range and you find the 0.5 area of that, or just eyeball it and see halfway through, oftentimes you actually do find resistance or support in that area. It's not always, it's not something to take home to the bank, but it is something to throw in your arsenal if you want to. I haven't heard of anybody talking about that on any TA channels that I've ever watched in my life. That's something that I've discovered myself. I'm not taking credit for it. I'm sure there's someone who discovered it before me. I'm sure that there are people who, I'm taking credit for discovering on my own and not learning that from somebody else. And with that, again, don't take it to the bank, but it is something that I've noticed, time and time again. It's actually fairly common. It's not that it always happens, but it can happen. So that's just another thing to throw into your arsenal. Anyways, we're moving down right now. 4-hour doesn't look too good. 1 hour looks like trash. We are in a nice solid downtrend in the 1 hour. We'll probably have a move up at some point. I bet we're going to get pretty oversold here. Let's look and see. Yeah, man. Anytime that we've been oversold, you can see where the very popular area is, right? It's right about there. And we could go lower, right? We could go lower even. That's totally possible. But right now, being up like this, if we were to go that low in the RSI, I would expect that we do have a lower low to happen, or to come from that in price. And if we were, let's see, the first low, whenever we got that low in the RSI, again, if we were to touch that white line on the RSI right now, that would probably bring us below this low here, and that would be a lower low in the price overall. But whenever we first touched this white line over here, right here, that was this low here. So we came down, touched it, and then we actually proceeded to go lower. So if we were to get down to this white line, which again, maybe we don't get a lower low from that, but I would bet that we get somewhere down here. Maybe we form some bullish divergence as we did before. Maybe we go lower as we have in the past even. But one way or another, I don't expect that once we touch this white line that the move's over. We could, we could form bearish or bullish divergence afterwards. We could kind of, we got to it like right over here or here even, we could have a little pop and then just further down, something like that. I don't expect Bitcoin Cash to move in a straight line down. It hasn't done it this whole time, but I do think that we are coming to the end. I think that we're over halfway done with this down move. I don't know. Whenever I say we're coming to the end, as I've been saying in my past few videos, that doesn't mean that it's going to happen tomorrow. That doesn't mean that it's going to happen next week. It could, but I would more expect probably within the next 2 to 6 weeks that we will see Bitcoin Cash find its low point here. We did just break out of the overbought zone on the weekly this week here, right? We are in that was this week. This last week here, that was the first week out of this whole range that we broke out of the overbought zone. And generally, within 2 to 4 weeks, actually, that's whenever we see our resolution to the downside after breaking out of the overbought zone. So maybe 2 to 4 weeks, maybe not quite 2 to 6 weeks. And 2 to 4 weeks would give us a range from this one, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. At the most within this month. So hopefully by the end of this month we'll actually see some resolution here, and then start to move upwards again, or at least stop moving lower, and wherever we are. And could it keep going down after that point? Totally, it's totally possible. But we'll just kind of stay informed and pay attention to this thing as it goes. We're moving down right now. To start the day off, let's see. We actually started the day off a little bit in the green, but now we're down. Gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. I love it when a plan comes together. However he says that from man, why can't I think of that? The A-team. There we go. Gotta love it when a plan comes together. I forget what's he say. What is it that he says? The A-team classic quote. I love it when a plan comes together. Yeah, yep. That's Hannibal himself. Yes, that's correct. Anyways, yeah, we started the day off like this with kind of a green Maru Bazoo, and we've just been going down ever since, man. Volume looks to be building on the 1 hour since then, but it's still not that miraculous. We very well could, you guys, come back up at some point up to like 233 or even like 236. Don't get too excited if we see a move like that. Don't get too excited if we see a move that takes us all the way back up to 240. That could happen as well, but I don't know. I'm under the impression that we are making our way lower. This does, to me, look like it fits this lower high range, and I would think that next we're going to see is something that would be on this lower low range, which could bring us down to around 211, maybe 205, somewhere around that 382 that I've been longing to see for so long now. Somewhere around here, yeah, this 201. Maybe we go just above it. Maybe we actually do, in fact, tip it. I would expect, just with the overall nature of this price action, that we will find some support there. For anybody that wants to make a short-term trade or go long or blah, 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 that's probably a good area to do that. It could go lower than that, though, so don't be too surprised by that. We could go to this daily low close, but I would expect, something between 187 to, let's call it 205, somewhere in there we'll find a little bit of support, and that would probably bring us back up to like prices around 225, 220, maybe even 230, something like that. If we were to take that half measure from low to top here, the 50% rule on that little price range action that I was mentioning earlier, that would bring us up back to like 232 potentially, which, wouldn't you know it, if I'd put a line right here at these lows, that's literally right there at 231.94 cents. It's right there. So maybe we do go down to around 200 and then come back up about like 10% or so. That would not be out of the norm at all, would it? That would be pretty expected. So anyways, I don't know if I have anything else to add to this. You guys know the game plan. It's the same as it's been. We're going down. Probably going to keep going down for a little while. Probably through the rest of this month. If not, at least for another couple weeks, I would say. So, or I guess we're almost done with this week. So, week and a half, another week and a half to 4 weeks, something like, or yeah, week and a half to 3 weeks, I would say. Week and a half to 4 weeks. Yes, I stand by that. A week and a week and a half would be 2 weeks. So so a week and a half to 3.5 weeks. That's what it is. That's where I was getting confused. So week and a half to 3.5 weeks, somewhere in there. That's when we'll probably see the resolution of this range overall. The purple line, mind you, is at 171, creeping up week by week. On a weekly basis, we have shown significance on it, and we have disrespected it, but I would say we've shown more significance than disrespect on this thing. Even whenever we break above it, we find a little support, and then we break below it, we still kind of showed significance on it and afterwards. Yeah. And it disrespects it, it disregards it sometimes, so maybe it's more fair to say like in that area, but I would expect that we do get below this purple line if anything. So right now it's at about 170. As the weeks go on, maybe by the end of August, here we are at like August 24th. Oh, this is on a daily, not on the weekly, I'm sorry. Maybe we get up to like 180 with this purple line, so that's kind of in that topping area, or that top of that range that I've been expecting, which is 185 to 135. So could we go further below the purple line? Absolutely we could, but that's something to keep in mind too. We'll kind of keep an eye on that. On the weekly, the purple line is way up here actually, so, and we rejected it, so whatever, that's fine. And we are below the 50. Yeah, that's okay. Let's see here. Long-term RSI. Yeah, it probably, the long-term RSI probably does want to come down in itself too. You can draw fibs on RSIs. I've done it. It does work. Look at that. Look at that. You're bouncing right off the 382 for this week so far. That's where you found a little bit of support, correct? Maybe you come down to the 618, which is at the 48, 49 level for this RSI, something like that. Have you found support there before? Hard to say. There's not a whole lot of data, but yes, you have right down here. And what was this over here? What was that? Wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? You had your little pump up, and then you had your run down, and then that was the last low you saw before really starting your bull market there. You moved sideways for a while, but then you started your bull market. So I mean, could this be the last? Could this be the overall higher low that we're looking for to send us up to glory? Potentially. I don't know. I don't know if I said this already. I think I did. But shout out to the Dragon Rider. Shout out to the House of the Dragon. I will see you guys on the next one. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up. I appreciate all the likes. I appreciate all the subscribers. Thank you guys very much. Have a wonderful day, night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.